If I told you, there was a time when saying the earth moves could make you a criminal. In the year 1633, an aging scientist stood before a tribunal in Rome. His crime was not violence, it was not rebellion, it was observation. He had looked through a telescope and believed what he saw. This is the story of Galileo Galilei and the moment the universe became dangerous. Galileo was born in 1564 in Pisa, Italy. For centuries, Europe believed something unquestioned. The earth stood still at the center of creation. The sun revolved around it. The stars revolved around it. The planets revolved around it. Humanity stood at the center of everything. This belief was not only scientific, it was religious, it was philosophical, it was political. To question it was to disturb the foundation of authority itself. But Galileo was not satisfied with inherited certainty. He wanted to see. In the year 1609, he heard about a device invented in the Netherlands, a tube fitted with lenses. It could make distant objects appear closer. Galileo refined it, improved it, and one night he pointed it toward the sky. The universe changed. He saw mountains on the moon. The moon was not smooth and perfect. It had shadows, depth, imperfection. He observed 4 small lights circling Jupiter, moons. If moons could orbit Jupiter, then not everything orbited the Earth. He studied Venus. It showed phases like our moon, which meant Venus orbited the sun. And if Venus orbited the sun, then perhaps the Earth did too. Each discovery was careful, precise, measured. Together, they dismantled the center of the universe. Years earlier, Nicholas Copernicus had proposed that the sun stood at the center, but he lacked strong observational proof. Galileo had evidence, and evidence is powerful. But evidence can also be threatening, because if the Earth moves, then humanity is not central. If humanity is not central, then authority becomes fragile. In the year 1616, the Catholic Church declared heliocentrism formally heretical. Galileo was summoned and warned. He was told not to teach that the earth moves as established truth. For years, he remained cautious, but his confidence in observation did not fade. He believed something simple: truth is discovered, it is not decided. In the year 1632, Galileo published a book. It was called Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems. The book presented a conversation between defenders of the traditional Earth-centered model and supporters of the Sun-centered model. On the surface, it appeared balanced, but readers quickly saw where Galileo stood. The arguments for heliocentrism were stronger, sharper, more convincing. The defender of the old system seemed naive. Some believed the character resembled the Pope. This was no longer astronomy. This was embarrassment. And embarrassment invites retaliation. In the year 1633, Galileo was summoned again to Rome. He was 69 years old. He was in poor health. The journey was exhausting. He stood before the Roman Inquisition, one of the most powerful tribunals in Europe. The charge was clear. He had disobeyed the church. He had promoted the idea that the earth moves around the sun. Galileo defended himself carefully. He argued that he had explored arguments, not declared absolute conclusions. But the tribunal was not interested in philosophical nuance. The message was clear. Obedience mattered more than evidence. Under threat of torture, Galileo faced a decision: stand by science and risk severe punishment, or submit and survive. He chose survival. Kneeling before the court, Galileo recanted. He declared that he renounced the belief that the earth moves. He signed the confession. An old man, forced to deny what he had seen with his own eyes. Legend says that after rising, he whispered quietly, "And yet it moves." We do not know if those words were truly spoken, but they survived, because they represent something larger than one man. You can silence a voice. You cannot silence reality. The Earth continued its orbit, unmoved by verdicts, unchanged by fear. Galileo was sentenced to house arrest for the rest of his life. He returned to his home near Florence. He was forbidden from teaching heliocentrism, forbidden from publishing freely. But confinement did not silence his mind. He continued studying motion, acceleration, inertia. His work quietly laid the foundation for modern physics. In his final years, he lost his sight, but even without vision, he continued to think, to calculate, to question. He died in the year 1642. The same year, another child was born in England, Isaac Newton. One mind faded, another would transform science forever. Knowledge did not stop, it advanced. Centuries passed, telescopes improved, planets were mapped, spacecraft left Earth's atmosphere. Humans walked on the moon Galileo once studied. In the year 1992, more than 3 centuries after the trial, the Vatican formally acknowledged its error. Galileo had been right. The Earth moves around the sun. It always had. Truth had simply taken time. The trial of Galileo was not merely about astronomy. It was about power confronting evidence. It was about institutions protecting authority. It was about what happens when new knowledge challenges old certainty. And it was about quiet courage, not loud rebellion, not dramatic defiance, but the courage to observe, to measure, to question. Sometimes the most disruptive force in history is not a weapon, it is a lens. And sometimes all it takes to change the world is to look up.